Hi, so on the chance that I actually upload this, because I'll be honest, I've kind of recorded this probably a few times, and that's not like this is the third time I've recorded this video. It's sort of, I recorded this video 4 months ago, 6 months ago, and probably sort of like 9-10 months ago. Like, this is something that keeps being recorded as sort of, let's get up to date because I haven't got you up to date, and then keeps not getting edited and put together, and just not having that final push to it. So part of this is done spur of the moment. You'd have thought after having 11 months to talk about this video, it would have been carefully planned and I'd have worked it all out. But no, I said, let's bang some lights on and just film things. So lighting should be fine because it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so unless I keep talking so much that the sun comes up, light should be fine. But I am not entirely sure. I'm blabbering. This is the video, or it's not, and this will just disappear and sit on my hard drive somewhere and never be touched again. But if I am seeing this, hi, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a proper this. I'm now noticing the camera's too high up, and so you can't see my hand gestures, and I like to gesture. That's a pain. I'm just going to wiggle you down. Wiggled! Oh, now you're losing the top of my head. Screw it. I'm going to have to lean down, but if I'm out of focus, screw it. Yes, 11 months-ish ago. Yeah, I think my last video was called, well, I know the last one emotionally was called VidCon Feels because I had to check because it's been that long ago. Wow. Since then, I tried lots of things to look at depression. I've tried a full rainbow effect of pills. Rainbow effect of pills? Is that like Skittles? I don't want Skittles. I haven't taken Skittles. Well, I have taken Skittles. That did not work amazingly well for depression. It just gave me nice sugary tastes. I had a tooth out recently. Maybe that's related to eating all of the Skittles. I have had a wide variety of antidepressants with a variety of effects. I did have therapy. You can see, for some reason, theatre. I did therapy. I haven't done theatre. Well, I have, but not in the last 11 months. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit like this. Sorry. I tried some therapy. I didn't like it. It didn't really work for me. Like, I didn't feel like they were telling me anything I didn't already know, and things I was trying to do, and it just wasn't working for me. Not that, I don't know. I think the therapy was designed more for things like fear and anxiety, and it looked like there were probably some things in there that would help with that, and possibly some ways of thinking about things that people who are less like me, who overanalyze everything, might have missed and might have found useful. However, most of the therapy was trying to get me to think about me thinking about thinking things. And I'm already like 20 moves ahead of that, sort of in the chess game of emotions. It's like I've gone beyond that analysis. I'm now analysing the fact that I analyse why I'm feeling the things that I feel and how I feel about the fact that I analyse the fact that I feel about the. I do a lot of analysis and I do a lot of that sort of let's think about the thinking and the approaches of thinking. So most of what the therapist told me, everything that sort of went on there was very much stuff that didn't really feel useful to me. So I sort of gave them a sort of, okay, you have 1 week left, cram everything that you feel that you may have missed into that one. Because really I spent like a significant amount of time just sort of getting everyone up to speed, or getting the therapist up to speed, and then sort of a small amount of time not really moving on very far, and mostly that felt like a waste of time. If it works for you, then sure. I don't really want to sound like I didn't think it did work, that it could work, but certainly wasn't for me. But on the other hand, like, I know that, like, wow, I say like too many times. It's a strange word. Like. It's got a hard head. Yes. I was talking. What was I saying? Wake up! I was saying something. What was it? Yes, if you find it works for you, then that's fine. Obviously, I'm pretty happy giving all of my, the majority, about 95% of my secrets out into the world for anyone to see on YouTube. So there are definitely, I don't have a huge need for safe spaces to feel trusted with people. I'm generally pretty open, so that's not necessarily a big deal for me. And like I said, I'm an overly analytical person, so I have that in my life anyway, so it wasn't really adding anything. If you feel that you're a person who doesn't analyse things, then this might be something that's helpful to you. If you're someone who finds it hard to open up, then again, maybe this might be the right sort of thing for you. Not for me. I spent a long amount of time on my first drug, which was called citalopram? That sounds right. And that was not very good for me. Well, nah, not really. It kind of just... It slightly dampens the top end and the bottom end, sort of emotionally. So, like, I definitely haven't had the good bits, but I had slightly fewer bad bits. Though admittedly I was still reasonably bad. It was just, I could still end up sort of crying in the corner or really angry at myself. Nah, screw it, I just did really badly. There were a few side effects that I liked. Certain things there are side effects I liked. That's part of the 5% I don't talk about, and I will at some point, but right now, not so much. And it's time for a cut, because it's gone 10 minutes on the wibbly thing. Okay, we've been de-wibbled. Got another 10 minutes before another cut. Wow, way to waste the time you've got when the recording. Yes! I was talking. Yes, so citalopram I sort of had for a long time. I kind of stuck to it because of other reasons, but as an antidepressant, it was doing a pretty bad job for me. I should probably mention that drugs have different effects on different people. Not all depression is the same. So just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. So feel free to talk to people. I don't know. I then went on a few other drugs, flipped around a few different ones. I can't remember what they were all called. Just things. One was called time flux, or flux time, something like that. That was cool. Couldn't go past 88 miles per hour, or strange side effects would happen. Suddenly be able to look for my hand and it would start disappearing. Alright, maybe not. I'm now trying to work out if I've actually told that joke before, or if that was in one of the videos that... or maybe I did just come up with it on the spot, but I feel like I've made that joke before. Maybe I made it on Twitter. Oh well. So, yes. Took some other drugs. All of those were pretty useless. Nothing had any... I haven't had any adverse side effects to anything, apart from one where I had itchy eyeballs, which was just maddening. Like, once a day or so, I'd just sort of... my eyes would just be really itchy for about 10 minutes. Like, in a way that is really unimportant, but just annoying. So, that all went on, and then about a month and a half ago, I got on a new set of antidepressants, and yeah. So up until this point, most of my antidepressants have been slightly stabilizing me, but not a lot. This one has definitely had a much better effect at making me feel like I can do things on the odd occasion, and B, really taking out the lows. So that's really stopped me feeling very lowly, and means that I can still have bad days of being depressed, but now a bad day of being depressed is me going, okay, I can feel myself not doing things, I'm not feeling great, this must be a day I'm feeling particularly depressed, as opposed to sort of sobbing in the corner, going, why is everything all? So, yeah, I like the new one just because it's just small things like taking out the rubbish, which used to be just an impossible task, is just a lot... It's a lot easier to be able to pick up little things, and I've been having good and bad waves on it, but I feel like this is the one where I can actually make progress if I work on it. Like, this is the one which feels like it's most making it easy for me to keep moving forward. So I'm sticking with this for a while, and it doesn't mean that I've not got a lot of work to do, but I think that it is the one that I need to... I think it's one that will help facilitate change. That, you know, at least it will be worth putting the effort in to try and build some structure and stuff. But On the downside, this one has definitely had the opposite effect of. So I was, from the first time I took, I suppose, like the big fear I had of antidepressants was like they would destroy my creativity, and it hasn't really done that at any point. But this set of antidepressants, like my brain is just all over the place, like trying to stay on a thought process for longer than an hour is pretty tricky, which is, it's just frustrating. It's just, because I just dart around ideas and ideas, and although getting some of the smaller tasks done, which end up building towards bigger things, like just getting small tasks, just getting any progression of thought is really struggling. It also doesn't help with the fact that I suffer from a moleculeness, I believe is the correct phrase. I think it's so the reference is Peter Molyneux always says, "We're gonna change the face of gaming," and only ever does good stuff when he's just trying to make a good game as opposed to change the face of gaming. But I tend to do the same thing. Like, already in the last few weeks I've tried to change the way of telling stories. I think I've got something good, though admittedly it's not changing the face of stories, it's just sort of pushing it to a new step. I have an idea to change the way video formats work. I think that one's going to be interesting. I've got a new vlogging style that I have spent like a year and a half saying I should really test that and get that working, so hopefully that might be something that starts to pop up here and then become more of a big thing later on. But that's something that I want to work on. And then I've got a new, try to come up with new business models and things, and made about 4 or 5 different ideas for computer games, and just most of which I will never actually make. It's also really hot, even though it's the middle of night, and to make sure the sound works I had to shut the window and turn on my studio lights, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen anything. So I'm pretty, it's pretty hot. Of course, physically pretty hot. I never do well in summer because I really, part of my autism is I don't like being touched, and I really don't like being touched by the wind, and I don't like evaporation on the skin, which quite frankly is how humans cool down. I prefer to cover up in layers, which sort of both sort of protects me from the outside physically, but it's also a lot like the cooling process that lots of animals use. Like, I mean, if you look at things like lions and tigers and things, I mean, they all live in hot places, but they also all have a thin layer of fur, and that's because they use cooling by a different system as opposed to evaporation, because the human brain needs to be water cooled, and that is exactly what sweat is. It is water cooling your brain because we need it. And I just try and pretend that I'm not a human being with a brain that needs to be water cooled, and try and use the old-fashioned process. But it does mean that I walk around a lot wearing far too many clothes in summer, and yeah. You know when you have a segue, like I really hate it in conversations where I have a segue and then I keep moving on, or the conversation moves on and then the segue is useless. Like, I was going to make the comment, I was going to move on to talk about my fitness, because I said, because I'm really hot, and then was going to go, well, physically I'm really hot because we seem to be in the middle of a small heat wave or something. But attractiveness wise, I'm also doing absolutely awfully because I seem to have put on quite a bit of weight and just not doing very well. Slightly falling to pieces in general, really. Yeah, that was just a whole load of blob. Whole load of blob might be the title of this video. It might not. Let's see if I can remember that point. Oh, we've gone past 10 minutes again. Jump! And we're back. So, yes, I'm on a new antidepressant. It makes me scatterbrained. So, yeah, I'm struggling a bit. And Dan's gone, and that's not good. And so I kind of went through this on Twitter, so those of you who follow me on Twitter will be much more up to date than those of you who just watch my videos. And I don't think there are that many. I've got a lot more Twitter followers than I do subscribers on this channel, so I imagine that most of you are there. So hi all of you from there. And maybe I should have tweeted hi everyone. Oh. Anyway, yes. So over Christmas I was trying to do this sort of try and find a happy place, and 11 months ago I went to somewhere in the city and it was very nice. I'm not going to do the long talk I did about it the last few times I've spoken about this, but it was a very nice event. I really liked it. I felt it was, having just come out from doing VidCon, I thought it was very comparable, and I think even preferred Summer in the City. Even more so when you allowed for the fact that it was so much cheaper and so much easier for me. Though admittedly, most of it only being easier for me is just because I don't live in LA and I do live in London. I'm going back there in however many, it's less than a month now. Fairly confident it's less than a month. I should check when those dates are. Anyway, I will be there. I'm going to talk. Oh, my battery's run out. Bye. You know, I really should have listened to Mad Eye Moody. Constant vigilance. Constant vigilance. That was Mad Eye Moody, wasn't it? I'm rusty on my Potter knowledge. I should reread those. I need to get hold of the Alan Dale audiobooks, because I don't like the Stephen Fry ones. Alan Dale did a much better job of reading that book. Anyway, where was I? Some in the City, going back. Yes, so last year I went there, it was very nice, but something that happened that was, I don't think it's much of a, jumping ahead of myself, I don't think it's much of a secret that I had a crush on a YouTuber. Fairly confident everyone knows who it is, because I reckon her name's probably turned up in a few of the old videos. But nevertheless, like, I had a crush, got to meet her, she was lovely, but we had no chemistry at all. Like, in my head it was like, oh, well, meet, it would be wonderful. We had no chemistry at all. And like, that's not just a sort of that was like, I gave off no chemistry, she gave off no chemistry. It was just sort of, still lovely person. Maybe we'll make videos or something at some point, but I mean, at the moment there certainly hasn't been any action, and I doubt it. But yeah, I mean, still perfectly happy to work with her because she was a very talented person. But that kind of, I find having a crush to be important to me. Even if they're fake people who don't really exist. In fact, especially if they're fake people who don't really exist. Because it allows me to create a fantasy future that's worth fighting for. Because I'm a pretty pessimistic person, and so most of my time I spend looking at the future, going, what's the point in putting money into a pension? I'm clearly going to be killed by a Terminator by that point. Or, because we will have hit the artificial intelligence barrier easily before I get to retirement age. So there's a significant high chance of that. There's a significant high chance that global warming will have killed off a significant part of the world, in which case there won't be many humans left. And I'm not sure that, that's necessarily a good situation either. So, I struggle thinking about the future. So being able to sort of have something nice as an idea to hang my hat on and go, not my actual hat, that would require me taking my hat off, and we all know that, like the Ark of the Covenant or Pandora's Box, all hell breaks loose if that happens. But my metaphorical hat. My metaphorical hat. Metaphysical hat? I like fezzes. But I don't look good in them. Hat I look worst in? Mortarboards. I wore one when I was graduated, but it sort of has a pinch just round the top, and because of my hairline already going back, it basically only covered the actual hair, so it then covered the bit of hair that I did have left and just showed the gaps, and that was bad. Incidentally, most of my alopecia's gone away. I certainly haven't lost anything, and most of my hair's grown back, more or less. A few areas are slightly lighter, but yeah, that's all good. Where was I? Yes, I like to have a crush. I find it useful in creating a sort of happily ever after situation, which admittedly is possibly due to the fabrications of, what are they called? Dream pixie girl things? I don't know. But I don't know what the future holds, so trying to build a nice, happy future is very hard, and therefore the only thing that I know that I would like in the future is a life partner, because I find that life's a bit dangerous and you need someone else to help you through it. I'm now just having huge flashbacks to me having this conversation before, and I can't tell if it was in a video I released or not, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. And this isn't going to be edited, I can tell. So I went through things. Came out the other side. This is me on the other side. No. I was talking about something important. What was I talking about? Oh no. Fancying people. I like to be able to fancy someone who I'm not actually necessarily going to have a relationship with, though admittedly, as I move more towards fancying people on YouTube and the internet in general, and my success happens in the internet in general, that is causing more and more problem, because basically me wanting to go, oh, let me fancy this person, and the chance of that person actually bumping into me or me working with that person gets higher and higher. Doubly so when you consider the fact that I'm genuinely attracted two very talented women, and I also wish to work with very talented women. So it's pretty rare for me to go, that's a person with no skills, so there's no chance of me bumping into that person, because if they don't have skills, I like, oh no. So I like that, and since that kind of small breakdown, or since that disappeared, I haven't actually been able to have that optimistic view of the future, which I find is necessary for to cast a good Patronus, with Dementors being a metaphor for depression, both for me and J.K. Rowling. So, yeah. So, yes, I need to cast a Patronus, and it'll probably be like this guy and be going, Rah! Won't it? You can go back to sleep now. See, Tab. So, Scatterbrain. Can you tell? I think so. Yes, I'm trying to move forward. It's really hard because I don't have that link forward that helps me say, this is what I've got to do it for. Which is a really important part of doing something. Being able to focus on what you're doing. Carrot being dangled in front of your nose. And without that, it's very hard to go forward. And without the push and the I'm feeling lost. And I suppose this was just a video to say I'm feeling really lost, and I'm sorry I haven't spoken, and I'm all scattery, but I'm trying. Maybe things will get better. Maybe some of this made sense. But I'm kind of doubt both of those things. Bloop. Come to some in the city, see me. I'm sure I'm doing some talks or something. It's being just handled. I'm doing a talk on how not to get people to pay you money, because that's my specialty. It's about advertising and not accepting advertisers, because we said no to everything. And I wanted to talk about that. While everyone else is saying how to get the most money, I'm going to be there going, no, say no to everyone. Stay independent. Adverts go at the front of your video and that's it. There you are. I've just saved you turning up to that tool. Come anyway, I'm sure I'll say more than that. I'll be less scattery too. Probably. I'm tired as well, so it's not helping. Bye!